started, I just wanted to relate to the audience that we called this special meeting for one purpose and one purpose only. So after we address a resolution that we're going to put on or if we put it on for the additional tax levy for fire protection, then we'll address the questions. But this meeting was for one reason. When we call the special meeting, we have to put a reason why, and we did by the ORC. Okay, so that's the main thing we're addressing here today. So roll call, please.
Mr. Volrath?
Here.
Mr. Blanton?
Here.
Mr. Robinson?
Here.
So I'll start off. So the purpose of the special meeting will discuss the following item. Resolution 2025-03. It's a resolution of the Board of Trustees, Miami Township and County, Ohio, determining to proceed with submitting the question of additional tax levy for fire protection. The Board of Trustees will consider placing additional tax levy on the May 2025 primary ballot. So I'll open it for discussion from the board. Any discussion from the board?
I think I appreciate the fiscal officer and finance committee for doing their due diligence, and I'm glad that we put this down from ultimately a 6.5 mil down to a 4.5 mil. And the residents recognize that, but we're do that. Hopefully inform the voters better for this upcoming primary.
So this board and this will probably to replace that. That's it. I think we lost some 3.5, so it's be 3.5 plus another one.
Comments, and I think it's important that people realize we don't have a value.
Right.
Supporting our fire in that, so it is very important that this passes.
Yeah, we are looking at a general.
We do have the very old 3.89-year-old continuous levy, but that doesn't bring in all that much money.
So we're asking for the original 3.5 and an additional 1 mil. Is that correct?
Right. Correct.
All right. All right. Anything from Mr. Brett, Mr.
Yeah, if you'd like, I can read the amounts.
Yeah, Judge.
I'll read in summary 2025-03. Whereas on December 18, 2024, the Board of Trustees of Miami Township passed a resolution number 2024-15, declaring the necessity for the purpose of providing and maintaining fire protection to levy an additional tax in excess of the 10 mil limitation under revised code 5705.191 at the rate of 4.5 mils for each $1 taxable value, which amounts to $158 for each $100,000 of county auditors appraised value for a continuing period. Whereas the Hamilton County Auditor has certified to the Board of Trustees that the dollar amount of the revenue that would be generated by the tax levy during the first year of collection is estimated at $1,664,000, which amounts to $158 for each $100,000 of the county auditor's appraised value based on the current assessed valuation of the township of $369,780,340.
That's 369. Or is it?
Sorry, 369. Oh, that's sorry. I had a few new homes.
All right. Any questions from the public? Yes, sir.
Is this going to be a continuous levy, or are you guys going to run this every 5 years? Can be a continuous levy?
Yes, sir.
I have a quality about how you're going to guarantee quality of care. Because I have written you an email, you an email, you an email, and you an email about the quality care my wife received from this fire department that you are providing, like, please, you're like a 60% increase in our rate. Neither one of you have ever responded to my email. And I think the people out here should know that you are not responding to my concerns.
Just hold on, because that's not true.
Oh, yeah, it is
I'm
true.
not gonna argue with you on the record. We're gonna keep this professional. It's not true. Mr. Brett has reached out to you, Mr. Borat has reached out to you, and they've met with you. There is no reason for Mr. Robeson and I to respond to you. We know our administrator's been in contact, and Mr. Borat's been in contact with you several times, and he oversees the fire department.
No one
So,
has said,
if you're, hold on, let me finish. If you're not happy with that, I'll be glad to talk to you after this meeting. We don't need to hash that out on the record.
these people should know.
Hold on. They know what they know. But I'm saying it's a false statement because I know that Mr. Brett and Mr. Borat has reached out to you and have met with you.
I just sent an email just recently this week. You responded to it saying you didn't get it. I sent it back to you
This week.
or last
I
week.
believe it was last week.
So the last
And nobody's
week,
responded back to me.
just so you know, the last week email, my name was spelled incorrectly. I had Mr. Brett forward it to me. That's why I didn't receive it and spelled my name incorrectly.
So nobody's else responded to that email.
But we've already discussed this. We talked this through.
Nobody's discussed reimbursing me.
I have had conversation with you. I had Mr. Brett reach out and we got the director from our medical director, Dr. Cooper. And he's also, Dr. Cooper is also putting together a response for you. There's some HIPAA stuff involved here that we don't want to go into, that we're not going to go into. That's going to hopefully answer some questions for you. But as far as the township stands, right now we're not going to pay that bill.
So you're okay with your firefighters, EMTs, not listening to a request of a patient or their caregiver or their
We are not
spouse?
okay with that, but according to Dr. Cooper, it wouldn't matter if she went to Western Ridge or Mercy West or UC or Good Sam, they would have sent her back to where she had originally surgery done.
They're wrong. Because they can't force me to go to one doctor.
Again, they were not going to,
They took that option, your EMTs took that option out of my hands.
well, I'm sorry you're upset, but we've addressed it.
Well, so how can I go to the Village of Cleves, being a council member, and saying, support this levy?
You
I'm gonna tell you,
didn't do that, did you?
what's that?
You didn't do that, did you? You
Not yet. Yes, I did, because when it came up for vote, the last time, and Ms. Oster can attest to this, I voted no.
I know you did.
I will continue to vote no.
Okay, so what is your plan then for the Village of Cleves for fire and police service? Because you know every other township has said no, correct?
In other words, you have a monopoly over us.
That's not the point. Are you looking out for yourself or are you looking out for the residents?
I'm looking out for the residents of Cleves because I don't want anybody else in Cleves to be treated the way I was treated by your firefighters.
This is the first complaint that I've seen with our fire department. And I think in your email, originally, your email said how professionally the firefighters were. You may because they didn't take her to St. E's. That's what you're upset about. You're upset that you had to pay an additional ambulance cost to go from the state of Ohio to the state of Kentucky. I'm sorry, we're not paying it.
I asked to go to Mercy West or UC. They choose not to listen to me.
Okay, I got that. And we.
Therefore, because they chose not to listen to me, I incurred almost a $1,700 bill because they chose not to listen to me.
They stuck within what?
Don't go there with me because I have just as much experience, if not more, than those two firefighters did. I had 8 years experience.
We're not gonna keep, we'll wait for the response back from our medical director, Dr. Cooper.
And then we're gonna move on, but it's my understanding, and tell me if I'm incorrect about this, that no matter where they transported her, that you still would have received that bill because we cannot go across state lines. Is that
No.
correct?
No,
That is correct.
no.
That is what our medical
No.
director is telling us, and that's what.
If they went to St. E's, but I wanted her to either go to UC or Mercy West, and your firefighter said no.
Right. I understand that. I know
So
that.
then you should pay that bill.
No, it's not as simple as that. Well, our doctor's telling us, now, this is my last comment on it, and we're gonna move on. We'll still be glad to meet with you, like Mr. Brett and Mr. Borat has already met with you. 2 times, I believe. But if you were gonna be required to pay the bill no matter where we transported her, we're not
That's not
gonna
true.
assume that,
That is not true.
now that's what our doctor is telling us.
Your doctor's telling me if they would have transferred her over to Kentucky,
We're not, are we not allowed to cross state lines or not?
no. Well, when I was a firefighter, you used to be able to.
We cannot now.
That's, I haven't seen, but your fire chief says that's the rule now. I'm fine with that.
Okay.
But when I
That's
asked
the
to go to UC, or when I go to Mercy West, and they ignored me. And they said, oh, it's just they could just stitch it up. And I sent each one of you a picture of that wound. And my wife spent from October 19th to the 24th of December in the hospital, 2.5 days in ICU. And it's just a freaking little scratch that they can be sewed up over there. No, they didn't know what they were doing. Whenever you're an EMT, you err on the side of caution. And that caution should have been UC or Mercy West, and they should have listened to what I requested. Not go on their own because they had just finished another squad run before they came and took care of my wife. And I will grant you, they did a good job taking care of her, but they didn't listen to my request to go to UC or Mercy West. If that was the case, I would have never incurred that additional cost. My wife would have never had to endure the additional pain and suffering that she had to from going from one stretcher to another, out of one ambulance into another emergency room. She would have never had to go through all that if those 2 EMTs would have listened to me. They chose not to.
Okay, it's just let's settle down. My understanding, we can still talk again. I'll be glad to talk to you again about this. And with Mr. Woolrath and our fire chief. But my understanding is the chief is looking into this and Mr. Woolrath procedure wise. If we got something we need to change in the future. Now, I don't know that, or I don't know that, but is that correct?
We already doing that, right?
I would just like to reiterate what Trustee Blank is saying. We were assured by our administrator that he and Trustee Bullrat were handling this and on top of it. So that's why you did not receive every correspondence from either of us, because there was regular communication from our administrator that you had been meeting, there had been communication that this had been discussed. So, please
It's
don't.
been discussed, but nobody's discussed the point that I've incurred a bill.
Well, I understand that you're not satisfied with the situation, but it's to imply with your initial remarks that no one has gotten back to you when those 2 gentlemen have met with you a couple of times.
No,
Not
a couple times.
I'll be glad to meet with you or Mr. Brad and talk to you again. Yes, sir.
My question was, why did we have short notice, about the meeting carrying on? Somebody signed, and she can't find it right now. One of you guys signed the program that we received at our house today, saying about the meeting tonight. And she looked it up on the email, and it was sent out or signed on the 21st. Even if it was signed on the 21st, it would have went out to the 22nd.
We don't send notices out for.
I got one.
I never got notice.
So what we did at our regular meeting in January, So in a regular meeting, the information was not returned to us from the Hamilton County Auditor. Because in order to file this, we have to have the information from them on what the amounts would be. So at that meeting, we said, when we receive this information, we'll have to hold a special meeting to vote to put it on the ballot or not. So we got the information. We have until, I believe, February 4th to get this information down to the Board of Elections. So you never want to wait till the last minute to drive something down there. So we got the information. It was discussed at the December meeting. We asked for the auditor to get us the information. The January meeting, we said we didn't have it yet. We would hold a special meeting when we got it. So that's why When we got the information, I told the board, found a date that was acceptable, and we posted a public notice that it was,
Okay, it was signed, the paperwork was signed on the
the
21st.
requirement for a special meeting is 24 hours.
Well, why did you wait and put it out at 3:30 instead of 6 o'clock or 7 o'clock for this meeting? So
So
other
that
people can
people-
show
It
up.
was posted early in the morning yesterday. It was on our,
Never got anything.
it was on our website, it was on the door.
Not on, we're not all on Facebook.
I'm not on Facebook either, it was on our
But
township
I'm
website.
sorry, website. But. You know, there are other people that would like to be involved in these and not during working hours. I just happened to take the day off. And my sister told me about it.
I think as far as the board goes, you know, same scenario. We would like to not have a special meeting, right? I'm driving for my job and I want to get here to be able to do this today. It's.
There's the excuse of not having it at 9 o'clock, 6 o'clock then. Most of what time are you in the meetings?
Most people are working.
6 o'clock. What's the time? The 6 o'clock meeting.
Our meetings are normally at 6 o'clock at night.
Yeah.
This meeting is called a special meeting.
I understand that.
That's what let me finish. And that's why the time is different in a special meeting. The only thing we are addressing on this today is whether the Board of Trustees in Miami Township is gonna approve or not approve for this to go on the ballot in May. That's the only reason we call this meeting. That's it. That's all it's for. It's whether Mr. Roberson, whether Mr. Borath or myself agree or vote, which we're getting ready to vote, we'll put it back on the levy for the May primary. That's the only reason we call this special meeting. That's why it's a different time. And that's why we're required by the ORC and the Ohio Revised Code, put a public notice on the door and on our website that we're having a special meeting. The 24-hour notice is all we're required to give, and that's what we get.
And that's why not many people are here.
So I don't know, I think that this would portray to some like this was informational meetings, you know, an ambassadors meeting, things like that. You know that we've had some of those in the past, and we have committed and said that we would have those moving forward to help inform the public before the May primary. So that's where you're going to see a more extensive conversation where we're going to come together, we're going to advertise it, we're going to promote it. We're going to say, please come. We want to hear your input. We want to hear discussions. We want to help inform the residents so that everyone is well aware of what they're voting on, and all that will happen. And that this board has committed to doing that. And we're going to do pick those dates, and you will see that on social media. You'll see that in newsletters. You'll see that on websites and everything else. This is my understanding, and I've only been here for a few years. So Cindy was probably the most senior member of this group, but this is more of a administrative process of formality to where we come and just to place it on the ballot, and then we can all discuss those matters. So correct me if I'm wrong, but that is how it was described to me of why we were having this special meeting.
That's all I wanted to know.
And if we don't do this by February 4th and get it to the auditors, it does not get on the ballot in May. So we're under a time constraint. We just got this return from the auditors. What's on Monday? So that's why.
Monday, then it's a matter of picking a time that everybody can make it here.
So if others portrayed it as something different and that you needed to come and, you know, be heard and everything else, this is more of just.
No, I said Monday is a holiday, all government offices are closed.
You can get Tuesday morning.
All right, let's just move on. Yes, sir, go ahead.
I heard it said that we're glad to see that the millage is going to be less this time. I guess my question, and I'm not sure that how the timetable went, but the property got reevaluated. So I'd like to know, you're saying we're paying, the millage is less. Are you implying that we're it's gonna be less money than the previous, levy? Or is it gonna be more? How, for dollars per $100,000 property value?
$158 per $100,000.
How much?
$158 per
And how
100,000.
much was it on the last levy?
170 something.
It's slightly less, but not a lot. I don't recall
Okay,
the
so
number
we're
off the top of my head.
actually, it's paying less
6.5 versus
dollars,
4.1.
but it's not really a savings. Can't imply that, right?
I'm not implying anything.
Okay, you just said that the millage is
Everyone
less
said,
than the last-
everyone, I'm just making clear the facts of what we were presented by the.
Right, it's just kind of misleading to say that, well, the millage is less, and glad to hear it.
Well, it's not because the millage is less.
That's a fact, it's true, what he said,
Yeah.
but the money is probably gonna go up a little bit.
I don't believe so, but I don't recall it. We didn't public notice this meeting to discuss the past levy, so I don't have that
Are
information.
there gonna be public meetings on this?
Yeah, we talked about that.
Is that in the public and or other trustee board?
So those questions can be asked.
Yeah,
Correct.
Am I incorrect on this, or we're planning 2 meetings before the May
We
primary?
discussed at least 2 meetings, to discuss that, and we can, and then Mr. Brett also, like he did the last time, said that he was going to have the coffee with Jim and potentially Cindy. So just like the last time, and we're maybe doing an even better job, hopefully. But we were very available the last time, and we'll be very available, this time, so.
And our regular public meetings.
Yes, and you're,
Twice a
anyone
month,
is always
right?
welcome to come to any of our.
Our third Wednesday of the month, we have a public meeting that everyone's welcome, and the first Wednesday of the month. We have it at 3:15, the third Wednesday of the month, we have it at 6 p.m. Yes, ma'am.
What will the total millage be if this passes?
4.5,
Total,
total 4.5.
because the last meeting we went to in September, they were saying total millage if it passes, I've got 9.79.
Oh, well, you got your 3 point, so if this one passes, you've got your one that we have on now, 3.29. So, so 7.7,
That's continuous, right?
right, the other one's continuous. What, isn't it 3.29? I know it.
What we're voting on in May is 4.5.
Right,
Is that
right,
correct?
but she's talking about total, we lost 3.5 mils, so we're really trying to get that 3.5 back and 1 mil additional. Have to do this 3, because you guys, the residents voted it in November, yes.
But in, just to be clear, in November, you voted on 6.5.
Which
And
was,
what you're going to vote on in May is, if this board approves this today, 4.5. So it went from 6.5 to 4.5, and what compared to what voters of the unincorporated areas.
Did the 5.5 or did 0.5 pass or they please?
yes, that did.
Yeah,
pass.
let's show it.
That was just a renewal of that.
Well, yeah, but that equals 7, instead of 6.5.
The police and fire.
I guess that's what the action was.
All right. Do you have a motion? Yeah, I'll make a motion.
I don't look this up here. Sorry, I realized that there seems to be a mistake that was made because it was, you had the renewal and you tacked onto it and you're trying to fix that. My only concern is, in essence, doing it at a non-primary time. In essence, right now you have about 2,000 people that voted at non-primary time. We passed the waste levy last time. During our last primary, there's probably 7,000 people that voted. There's 16,000 people in Miami Township. So my only concern is the lack of representation during an off-cycle vote. When you have 2,000 people voting, inevitably it feels a little bit like dirty politics sometimes by leveraging those out of sequence voting cycles to not get proper representation for tax, in essence, tax without representation. That's my only concern.
Understood. I'll make a motion to move forward with resolution number 2025.
Did you want to say something? Hey,
I just had a question about how it communicates to 4.5. It's actually, I realized the 3.5, but where did the 1 mil and how's the services going to differ with an increase of 1 mil?
So with the difference in some of that, I'll let Mr. Brett handle furthest too, but with what we're doing, we have 25 full-time firefighters that we agreed to.
back in 2023, I believe. We are currently only staffed at 20 full-time, so we will not be putting those additional 5 on. But, the overtime issue,
It's 25 now. They agreed in 2023 to go to 30. And we've not had the funding to do that. So the bulk of this money will go to pay for additional firefighters and benefits.
And salaries, I mean, every year it's 3-5% increase.
Our current,
Benefits or.
So how many firefighters are you talking in? You just said 25, and you said 30.
this would take us from 25 full-time slots to 30 full-time slots. So, and the difference is, right now, when people are off, we're filling those empty spots with part-time people if they're available. So unfortunately, the part-time firefighter market is just really dried up out there.
Totally understand that.
Yeah.
So my question is, what would be your time frame to get these additional 5
We would,
full-timers on air force?
we won't
The
even,
reason I ask that is because at the last levy, about 5 years ago, I was led to believe by fire department personnel that they were going to use that levy to put a 4th person in each of the stations, and that never happened 5 years ago.
well, I think at 20 people, they probably have, they staff 4 per station. So,
Okay, next to, move forward with that, make a motion to approve resolution number 2025-03.
I was second.
Mr. Volra?
Yes.
Mr. Blanton?
Yes.
Mr. Robinson?
Yes.
All right, any other discussion for the board? Mr. Robinson?
No, again, we will look forward to notifying some folks and getting the word out and having further discussions on this.
Ms. Cora? Mr. Brett?
no, nothing more.
Ms. Ozer?
Yes.
All right, motion to adjourn?
Make a motion that we adjourn.
Second.
All right, Mr. Volra?
Yes.
Mr. Blanton?
Yes.
Mr. Robinson?
Yes.
Here, guys, I got this.